Yes?
Present.
Okay. Mr. Custis?
Present.
Ms. Gillespie?
Present.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Present.
Ms. Merricks? Is Ms. Merricks here? Mr. Leyba Martinez?
Present.
Mr. Nelson?
Present.
And President Mohammed?
Present.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I see that the board is now to go into closed session to discuss matters of contract negotiations and attorney-client privilege. Let's see. Do we have an estimated time for the closed session?
30 minutes should be sufficient.
30 minutes. Okay. Do I have a motion to enter into closed session?
Motion to enter into close.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. The meeting is now in closed session for 30 minutes to discuss attorney-client privilege items and contract negotiations, and should return about 6 p.m.
Board members, you should now see a sign that says join. Please hit the join button to enter the closed session rooms.
At this time, our board secretary will bring us out of closed session.
You're on,
Oh,
okay.
you're on mute.
All in favor of coming out of closed session, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Nay? Okay, the meeting is now out of closed session. And
All right, thank you very much. At this time, we're going to move into my superintendent's PowerPoint presentation. We'll just allow a moment for that to be shared. Wonderful. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our virtual April regular advisory board meeting. Before we get started with the rest of the presentation, I would like to pause, slow down, and take a moment to reflect. We'd like to pay tribute to former advisory board president, Mrs. Martha Wilson. Just a year ago, we lost her in this life, but we know she is forever in our hearts. We look forward to keeping her legacy alive through the work that we continue to do in this district collectively on behalf of our children, because they are who we serve. And so again, let's just take a brief moment of silence just to honor and reflect on and pay tribute to our dear Mrs. Martha Wilson. Thank you, everyone. So moving into our agenda for this evening. Tonight, we are going to focus on one primary topic to begin with, our return to in-person hybrid learning. And then we will dive into our district priorities. So on this slide, you see three wonderful pictures of our first day of in-person learning. After over 365 days, we were able to bring a small portion of our young people back to an in-person setting. So we want to thank you all. Thank you to our parents and our community for understanding and for your flexibility as we pushed the start date from April 12th to this past week, April 19th. I cannot tell you how palpable the joy of being in the presence of our students and teachers last Monday was for me. I am so excited to have our students back in the buildings and look forward to the next phase of welcoming more students in the coming weeks. And I'll share a little bit more of that in a couple of slides. And before I go on, as excited as I and all of our staff have been to see some of our students back in school and in person, I want to quickly remind everyone that we are still in the midst of a pandemic, and the only way to slow the spread and keep our entire community safe is by practicing our 4 W's. Those 4 W's are, as you see them on the screen, wear a mask, watch your distance, wash your hands and sanitize often, and complete a daily wellness check. Those are our 4 W's. As we plan to expand our in-person learning and bring even more students back, these 4 W's will be essential to our success in mitigating the spread of COVID. So we thank you in advance for your cooperation and for your support in helping to make sure that everyone in our school communities is honoring these mitigation factors and efforts. Which brings us to how our second phase of in-person learning will occur. So first, we need to know who is looking to return to in-person learning. Learning each family or child's preference now in April is necessary to plan for our programming for the rest of the year. Last week on Wednesday, April 21st, a phase 2 survey was distributed to parents via email. It was also posted on our Facebook page and our district website. The survey should be completed by every family in grades pre-K through 8. The survey closes tomorrow. So please take the time to complete the brief survey in order to help us plan most effectively for a healthy, safe return. Over the next 3 days, we will sort through and catalog the data, which will give school leaders 2 weeks to prepare their 3rd through 8th grade staff for their students' return. I am excited to say that since our pre-K through 2nd grade program is already fully operational, we are looking to bring back additional pre-K through 2nd grade students as soon as possible, with the earliest being Monday. If you completed the survey last week and have a pre-K through 2nd grade student who you want to return, we've already passed your preference along to your child's school in an effort to see if they can be scheduled to return next week. At the end of the day, our first goal is student safety and also staff member safety. So although we hope we can bring in additional pre-K to 2 students next Monday, we are leaving it to school principal discretion to safely bring in these additional pre-K through 2nd grade students. So again, complete the survey by tomorrow for our 3rd through 8th grade students, and then for our pre-K through 2nd grade students who have not returned yet and parents, you want them to return, please make sure that you are following all of the guidance and directions. We want to be ready, safe, and prepared for you and your students and our staff members. So on this next slide, you'll see a lot of information, but I'll distill it down for you. If you haven't already completed the survey, I want to take a moment to remind everyone about what in-person hybrid learning will look like and what it will feel like. Health and safety is paramount. So we focus heavily on the 4 W's, as well as the mitigation strategies you see here. Regular cleaning of buildings, not only every night, but also making sure regular touch points are sanitized throughout the day. Tracking who is in what classroom and engaging with which individuals each day to ensure contact tracing may be communicated to the Camden County Department of Health. We will also ensure that we have regular air movement, windows open, doors open, HVAC systems bringing in and circulating fresh air, and continuation of our food service programs with meals and groceries being delivered to our students' homes. And again, just another reminder about what the actual day will look like. So what's the schedule like for our students? Students arrive between 9 o'clock and 9:10 to start their day. Students, with their parents' help, must have their wellness form completed before entering the building. This keeps everyone safe. Students will line up outside at their assigned entry point as determined by school leadership. Students must wear masks. Students will enter with CCSD staff, hand sanitizing on their way in, and socially distancing as they move to their classrooms. Student schedules will be very similar to what they've experienced at home, with the teacher building in breaks for bathroom and sanitizing to make sure we all remain healthy. Students will primarily stay in their room to minimize any chance of exposure and remaining together as a cohort. They will also be dismissed at the end of the day in a socially distanced manner, likely from their same entry point. And we again remind all families, you must be masked when picking up or dropping off your child. Students who are in their at-home days will log in with their teacher who will be teaching students in class, as well as those joining the Google Meet or Zoom from home. And so again, your teachers, your school leaders will continue to remind our families and our students about this very important information, but we want to make sure it's really clear that the only way that we can maintain the safest environments is if we all work together to follow what has just been shared with you. So as we're going to shift a little bit to transportation. As we brought back our first phase of in-person learning, we saw that acquiring transportation was one of our most significant obstacles, and we share that with you. Between bus driver shortages and expanded vehicle needs for social distancing, there is just a lack of available routes. Although we reached out to over 13 regional vendors to ensure transportation for students who require it based on their disability, only one vendor was able to meet our desired times, and those routes only covered 25 to 30 of the 75 students who had IEP required transportation. However, for the other 45 students, we had to adjust those students' start time just to acquire a bus route, and at that point for a rate triple the normal expense. So we adjusted because it was so important for us to put students first in this way. We adjusted schedules to allow us to secure busing, but then that busing was more expensive. The reason keeps coming back to vendors not having enough interested drivers. Based on these extreme limitations, during our second phase of re-entry in May, we will continue to pursue transportation needs. However, we want to be very clear and transparent about the high likelihood of transportation not being available for students unless we are able to do something similar to this first phase, which is to adjust the schedule and to come up with some other outside of the box strategies. Our team is working diligently behind the scenes to ensure that every student will have transportation. But again, we want to make sure we are transparent with you in this area. And we'll continue to keep the board and our community updated with regard to transportation. So again, I'll just give a last plug, one more plug, and reminder to take the interest survey by tomorrow if you haven't done so already. This is the last chance to make a decision about having your child return to in-person learning for this school year. And so again, please make sure that you take, it's a very brief survey, that you take that survey so we'll have the information. So now we'll cover a few topics in our priority areas aligned with our strategic plan. CTE. So it's that time of year for our 8th graders and their families to begin making choices about high school. And this is a very, very exciting time. I am so excited to share the district's robust CTE offerings. In December of 2019, and I need you to hear this, the district had only one state-approved CTE program. We had other CTE programs, but we only had one state-approved program in December of 2019. Over the last few months, we have shared the incredible progress of our CTE department and the progress they have made in building out state-approved programs for the district. There are now 16 programs that are available to our students across various schools, and they are all state-approved programs. 10 of the 16 programs are programs of study where we have partnered with Rowan University as our higher education partner. Again, so that's tremendous progress. We will be bringing the board and the community more updates around our CTE offerings, but that is a moment for our district to celebrate and then to build upon. From December 2019, one state-approved program to now 16 state-approved, with 10 having a secure higher ed partner who is committed to helping our students see their courses through. Again, hats off to our CTE team, to Mr. Tom Levy, who is the team of one, who is our senior manager for CTE at the moment. And he has been working very diligently along with so many of our partners. So we thank you so much. And so as all of our pathways are aligned to employment gaps in high skill and high wage jobs that are in demand both locally and nationally, very important. We want to set our students up, as our vision statement states, to be able to be successful in college, career, and beyond. All pathways prepare our students for both college and the workforce through the attainment of industry recognized credentials and certifications upon successful completion of the programs. If you are an 8th grader and interested in pursuing a particular CTE pathway, don't hesitate to speak with your school's guidance counselor. The district has pathways for you to fit the needs of all of our students right here in the Camden City School District. So we are excited and will continue to keep you updated on our CTE progress. Another area that we haven't touched upon in a while is our Gifted and Talented program. So our gifted and talented students at Caddo and HB Wilson have recently engaged with Shark Tank projects. During this unit, students had to identify a problem, create a prototype, write a proposal, create a commercial, and present to their peers and the sharks. All students defended their proposals and were successfully funded. In addition, students participated in a STEM, Functional Furniture Challenge. During this unit of study, students had to create a new piece of convertible furniture for a small New York City apartment. The furniture must serve more than one function. So as you can see, they were integrating math, science, metrics, all communication, public speaking, creativity, all sorts of areas of their intelligences were tapped in this project. And so this is one highlight, and we are so very proud of our gifted and talented students at Caddo and HB Wilson. As our CCSD teachers face challenges with teaching remotely, the EdTech lead support was developed. In this role, the EdTech leads are responsible for providing whole group, small group, and one-to-one professional development to all school-based staff. They meet monthly under the direction of Ms. Tanya Wilson, our senior lead educator, to learn more about district initiatives. Also, they learn about instructional strategies and best practices that align with the New Jersey Student Learning Standards. This group loves to collaborate and plan ahead for instruction. So the picture on the left that you see is a picture of Mr. Sam Colon, who is an instructor at VETS. And you see here teachers expanding their knowledge base with Google Classroom. On the right, you see highlighted a picture of one of our staff members from Kramer School. The EdTech is Christine Reardon. And you see here teachers adding some additional discovery education instructional strategies to their teaching toolboxes to further engage our young people. So hats off again to our staff who have taken on roles as being EdTech leads and have been very successful with helping us to meet the challenge of remote learning successfully. So moving into our next set of, our next priority updates in the area of building, of facilities built for 21st century learning and success. You see a wonderful picture here of Camden High School, another version or another view of it that's different than what you might see on our website. So it is so exciting to realize that after such a long design and construction process, which began so many years ago, that this state-of-the-art Camden High School facility has become a reality. Even more exciting is that the project is scheduled to be complete on time and as promised by the school's development authority. No doubt, there is still a lot of work to do in order to get the project to the finish line. For example, in the coming months, the building will become even more complete with the delivery and installation of fixtures, furniture, and other classroom equipment. Final touches will also be placed on the interpretive displays that are positioned throughout the individual schools and the common areas of the building. These displays are not only the preservation and memorialization of the original building's history, but also a coalescence of the individual stories and the respective histories of all 4 schools that will come together in this new campus environment. Aside from the brick and mortar, the SDA will also provide district personnel with comprehensive operations and maintenance training, so they are fully prepared to run the building, to maintain the building effectively and efficiently. It is all so very exciting, and I cannot be more pleased to share and to personally experience this next step in the history of the Camden City School District. So stay tuned for more updates in this area. Families, please be reminded to sign up for bulk meals and groceries on our website. Meals include 7 days of breakfast and lunch with 5 days of snacks and dinner. Please stand by for further information regarding our summer meals program and PEBT as our agriculture and human services teams finalize plans to be shared at a later date. So more information to come in that area. On March 29th, the Office of Safety and Security hosted professional development for all of our security officers. Training focused on communication and de-escalation skills, specifically tailored to support our pre-K through 2nd grade population. Security officers were trained on techniques, phrases, and soft skills to help resolve student conflict. In following the CDC's recommendations, it is more important than ever to sharpen officers' communication skills. The Office of Facilities provided a jump box in every building for officers. These jump boxes can be found in the front security desk and at the front security desk, and contain additional PPE to support officers when responding to serious incidents. Join us as we celebrate and share healthy living. Family University will be hosting the Camden School Nutrition Team with Aramark Services and the Campbell's Camden School Food Collective partners. The team will discuss resources and opportunities that will foster a school nutrition environment that ensures all students are well nourished and ready to thrive at school and in life. Join us on April 28th at 6 p.m. Again, that's April 28th at 6 p.m. for Family University. Please take time out to complete this Camden School Meals and Wellness Initiative survey. This survey will be used to determine program needs for the future. Please visit the district's website or scan the link that is listed here in order to complete the survey. And for our final priority, we want to take this opportunity to share. Each year, the district, every district in the state of New Jersey undergoes a CAFR audit or an annual audit and fiscal review. And so our annual audit has been completed for the previous school year, the school year, fiscal year 2020, so the 1920 school year. And I'll share with you a few highlights of that audit. The district closed the 2020 school year with a fund balance deficit of $8 million. At the end of the 2018 school year, and you'll see that noted on the graph here, at the end of the 2017-18 school year, the district had a positive fund balance of $7 million. The allowable amount at about 2% of general fund expenses. With increased costs and decreased state aid, the district has had to utilize all available fund balance, which has been fully exhausted and is now in, that's what, why it is now in a deficit position. And again, remember, this audit is not for this current year, but for the last school year ending June 30th. In the past, the district was able to apply for special aid to supplement funding. In recent years, the district has been encouraged to exhaust any existing reserves. On this next slide, you'll see a pie graph, and what's depicted here is as follows. State aid was by far the primary source of general fund revenue in 2020, having provided $311 million, or 96.4% of the district's budget. Again, $311 million, 96.4% of our district budget comes from state aid. Local taxes provided $7.6 million, or 2.4% of 2020 general fund budget revenue. All other sources of funding, including semi and Medicare, tuition from other school districts, and miscellaneous income provided just 1.2% of the revenue received. And so this just gives an idea of, when we look at that purple graph and we see how much money comes from state aid and the slices that come from any other revenue sources as laid out by our auditors. And so this slide breaks it down a little bit further. And so when it comes to our total general fund expenditures for 2020, those expenditures totaled $345,776,037. So this included $149.9 million that was transferred to charter and Renaissance schools, and $18.8 million that was paid out in tuition to private schools and other districts for total tuition payments of $168.7 million, which was 49% of total expenditures. So again, I'll stop there just so that we get the full picture once again. Our total general fund expenditures for 2020 totaled $345+ million. This included $149.9 million transferred to charter and Renaissance schools, and then another $18.8 million paid out in tuition to private schools and other districts for total payments of tuition of $168.7 million, again, which is almost half of our expenditures. After tuition payments, the district's operating budget was $176 million, which included instructional costs for regular and special education students, transportation, facilities, support, and administrative services. And so this next slide just gives you kind of a year-over-year view. It doesn't go into all of the years of the past decade, but just the 3 most recent years. So year over year, our audit findings have either decreased or remained steady for the past few years. The overarching area that remains to be addressed in all of the findings is the lack of internal controls within many of our processes. With a tight operational budget, as we've shared, because 49% of our budget goes right out to tuition payments and charter and renaissance. With that tight operational budget over the years, we have had to eliminate many of the positions necessary to ensure strong internal processes. We have begun, however, restructuring the various teams, particularly within the business office, for this exact reason. There's no way we can get our internal control processes in place if we don't have the staff members to do it. I am confident that as we continue to build our team, these findings will continue to decrease. And I will end my presentation with just a few more slides in our district highlights. And so the first district highlight I want to share has to do with the food bank and #spotted HB Wilson Elementary School, in conjunction with the Food Bank of South Jersey and Wholesome Riches, are back at it again to serve the families of Centerville with food. We want to give a special shout out to the Food Bank of South Jersey and to Wholesome Riches for serving at HB Wilson every 3rd Monday of the month. Thank you. Thank you for your partnership, and thank you for caring about our students. Congratulations to 30 hardworking students recognized for their efforts to get back on track to success. Last week, we had the opportunity, it was a wonderful occasion, to celebrate these amazing scholars. We did it virtually this year, but it was just as amazing. We did it also during we did it virtually and during our Back on Track event. It was absolutely wonderful to see and to hear the testimonies of our teachers and guidance counselors about the perseverance and resilience of these hardworking students. A big, big thank you to the Camden Rotary Club for partnering with the district again and for donating 1 Chromebook for each of the students. So each student will receive their own Chromebook as a result of the generosity of the Camden Rotary Club. And scholars, your school and community support you and expect great things from you. Congratulations, congratulations. And I want to say that one of our BRIM graduates, I believe from the class of 2009, came back to speak, and she's currently she has served as Vice President Kamala Harris on Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign, and she's done lots of other wonderful work in Washington, D.C. and other areas in policy, and she was able to speak from her experience to our young people, and it was immensely inspiring. So hats off again to the team led by Sheree, Sheena, also Alyssa Wilds, just for hosting and for making sure that our young people were celebrated. We will continue to commit to them remaining on track. And save the date. If you are interested in signing up to speak at our next board meeting, please visit our website at www.camden.k12.nj.us. Please note, the sign-up sheet will be available 24 hours prior to the meeting. That's 5:30 p.m. the day before the board meeting, and will close 30 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Reminder, stay connected. If you want a quick way to get updates from your child's school, just scan the code displayed on your screen right now, or text YES or text Y to 68453 to receive simple text alerts about school closures, emergencies, and fund programs. It is very important to please make sure you update Can't underscore this enough. Please update your contact information with your child's school. That is critical. And at this time, I will turn it over to our board president or his designee to acknowledge our staff members who have served the district and are now prepared to retire. In advance, thank you for your years of service and best wishes to you in your next chapter. Board president or designee.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, Madam Superintendent. I thank the designee we have, this Tanya there. She can give me a little help, please.
Mr. Nelson will be reading for tonight.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So thank you. Again, just want to give all our retirees a round of applause and say thank you for your many years of service. You're very appreciated. Our first retiree is Ethan Bob, teacher, elementary, 25 years of service. Next is Jacqueline Council, custodian C, 26 years of service. Our next is Desiree Davis L, paraprofessional A, 25 years of service. Our next is Susan Gerber, nurse, 16 years of service. Our next is Frida Halliday, teacher, dance, 32 years of service. And our last is Nicole Hayes, paraprofessional A, 14 years of service. So again, we say thank you to everyone for your many years of commitment to our district.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Vice President Nelson, and we turn it back to you, Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Board President. At this time, I will turn the meeting over to our General Counsel to guide us through the public comment portion.
Thank you, Superintendent. The Camden City School District welcomes the attendance and comments from all members of the public at its meetings, including its virtual meetings. This public comment period is your time to be heard on the agenda during the meeting. Each person who signed up or submitted a comment will have 3 minutes. This time applies to both verbal and written comments. You will be notified when your 3 minutes are up, and you cannot yield any remaining time to another person. At the end of the 3 minutes, please be advised that you will either be muted or I will stop reading your written comment. As in all of our meetings, please conduct yourself in a respectful and courteous manner. The board can prohibit language that is either harassing or inappropriate. So for anyone whose comments or actions intend to harass, intimidate, or threaten the safety of any person, or if you curse or use vulgar language, we will provide you with a warning or immediately end your comment time. In addition, when submitting verbal or written comments, please direct all comments to either the superintendent or myself. After the public comment period is closed, the superintendent may address your questions to the extent provided by law. For those providing comment via phone this evening, we request that you mute or turn off your Facebook Live feed while you're providing comment to limit potential feedback. And I will begin with the written public comments. And I do not believe we have any call-in comments. We just have written submissions this evening. The first written comment is from Angel Hernandez. Dear Superintendent McCombs and board members, I am writing you this letter to beg of you to reconsider closing US Wiggins. Please don't close our school. First, you stated that there was a need to close due to a $40 million deficit. Then you said that the schools were deplorable and not in shape of our students to learn. I ask that you tell the truth and state the real reason, which is political. You touched on that last meeting yourself. Norcross doesn't care about our children. All he cares about is himself and ruining the lives of children. How can you sleep at night knowing you are closing 3 schools to please George Norcross? I ask that you keep it real with the students and the teachers at these schools. My kids are very upset that Wiggins is closing. It is so bad that I am seeking help for them. They cry every day that their school is closing. We have to keep in mind charter is not for everyone. Just like when kids get older, college isn't for everyone. Stop closing our traditional public schools. We are in the midst of a pandemic, and you threw at us that you were closing schools. Again, how can you sleep at night knowing that you have hurt so many from the community and a city that you grew up in? It saddens me and my family that people who grew up Camdenites are the ones who come back and hurt our children and just take things away from them. In closing, please find in your heart and do the right thing. There are great things that are happening at Wiggins and all of the other schools. My kids were part of the Cooper Doctors program and after school at Wiggins. And for them to no longer have it if you close this school is disheartening and it makes me heartsick. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. I'm going to take a quick drink of water. The next comment written submission this evening is from Keith Benson. I want to be clear in reminding people here that telling the truth does not constitute an attack. Pointing out things in truth is not an attack on anyone. I will say this again, it is a waste of my time to write or speak anything that is less than honest or something I cannot prove to be true. Further, there are questions that go unanswered every month, which should be unacceptable to board members and the public. Let's start with an easily recognizable truth. Closing schools is an act of violence upon children and communities, and they only happen in communities like ours. In less than 3 years in office, Ms. McCombs has proposed closing 6 schools, 6. This choice to close 3 after this year will displace nearly 1,100 students and hundreds of families. Last month, the superintendent kept saying that she can't move funds around. We're only a week before New Jersey passed a law saying the exact opposite. The districts can move money between line items freely, even without notifying the Commissioner of Education. This is a fact per the Atlantic City Press on March 16th, which quotes, the bill allows districts to use or transfer funds between line items and categories without approval of the State Commissioner of Education. The district has the money to keep all schools open. Remember, the district is getting $175 million in new money. Another truth, the district under the prior administration lost employee documents that per board policy, the district is mandated to maintain. The district's longtime paraprofessionals are faced with passing a test this year or lose their job. Superintendent McCombs knows this to be true. Why won't Ms. McCombs openly admit that fact by notifying our staff as she's been implored to for months? People are facing losing their jobs, healthcare, and being forced into early retirement. And the superintendent is willing to let that happen and not say a word about it. Another truth, the superintendent knew and was notified repeatedly about how Camden enrollment was driving our district's enrollment downward, specifically at Wigan Sharp, BPLA, Creative Arts, Camden High, Woodrow Wilson. Why did she do nothing to stop it? Why does she keep getting in front of microphones saying our enrollment is going down while never mentioning that she was on the board of Camden enrollment and that she never did anything to stop them from capping our students? I say again, everything I've written is factual. These are not attacks. This is truth. My personal feelings about Ms. McCombs have no bearing on these facts. It bothers me that it seems so many people don't care that the leader of this district is doing things and making decisions that hurt people with considerably less power because she can. It bothers me that she feels so comfortable hurting people because she can, and even after it's been pointed out. And it bothers me that this board largely gives her cover to continue to do so. Kids are being hurt by her decisions. Parents and educators are being hurt, and the superintendent can stop it all, but chooses to do nothing, all while claiming the high road. Question, how many students does the district expect to lose after closing these schools? Question, what does the loss in enrollment amount to in dollars toward our budget? Question, where can we find that analysis? Thank you, Mr. Benson, for your comment. Just in the 3 minutes. The next comment is from Mary Freed. I choose to work in the city of Camden 19 years ago because I wanted to help children. I have observed the pride of the young in this city and their efforts to improve themselves. There are many fine people in this city. Please keep the schools open and provide them with the best to ensure a positive future. Remember, the future of tomorrow is in the hands of the young people of today. Teach them great and they will become great leaders of the future. Let them down and they will never reach their full potential. Thank you, Ms. Freed. And our last written submission and public comment this evening is from Sarah Joslin. Please note that the New Jersey State Board of Education has open public testimony for their Wednesday, May 5th, 2021 meeting. You must mail or email your public comment as directed on their website. No in-person testimony due to COVID. The current Camden BOE policy of having YouTube only in Spanish does not allow non-English speakers to easily review the Camden City Board of Education meeting. Not all members of the public have access. Thank you, Ms. Jocelyn, for your comment. And Superintendent, that is our last public comment this evening, having no call-in commenters.
And excuse me, if I may, Madam Superintendent and Board Counsel, I believe that there was a little mistake or error made, and I'll turn the floor back over to Vice President Nelson, please.
Yes, I apologize. Can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear
All
you.
right.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So the retirees, again, thank you for all those that have dedicated their time to the district. I apologize for the wrong information previously. So we first have Maria T. Martinez, Clerk 3, bilingual, that has given 32 years of service. Next is Maggie Miller, paraprofessional A, 25 years of service. Next is Dorita Akapour, teacher, special education, 36 years of service. Next is Elizabeth Williams, teacher, pre-K, 26 years of service. And last is Elaine Williams Fussell, paraprofessional A, 27 years of service. Again, thank you to everyone who has been committed and dedicated to serving our students and our district.
Thank you, Vice President Nelson. There was an additional page of retirees and wanted to note that. Madam Superintendent, I do apologize. Once again, go ahead.
No problem. Thank you so much. We want to make sure that all of our wonderful retirees are acknowledged, so not a problem at all. Thank you to our General Counsel for reading through the public comments. And so at this time, I will address those public comments before opening it up to the board for any questions or comments that you may have as well. Okay. And so the bulk of our public comments this evening focused in on school closings. So I want to just take a moment to share a few brief talking points in that area. Again, I want to thank everyone for your comments, and to all of the commenters who spoke about school closings. Thank you for expressing your voice and expressing your opinions around this matter. The action of school closings is incredibly difficult. Closing schools, as I've said from the beginning, is not something that I take any pleasure in doing at all, and it is very difficult. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the 3 school closings as a loss to our district community and to the community at large. I humbly serve this district. And so while this is a loss that could not have been more difficult, I want to take a moment to share some of the work that my team is engaged in right now to ensure that every student across the district, regardless of grade level, will experience a strong start to a new school year in September. So in preparation for the upcoming school year, we are hard at work ensuring that September has a strong opening starting now for our students and families. In September, after a long year of remote instruction, we are preparing to have all students pre-K through 12 back in our buildings for in-person learning starting on day 1. In September, we will open the doors to our brand new state-of-the-art Camden High School campus, as I shared in my presentation this evening, which will be home to 4 high school academies. In September, we will reopen the doors and opportunities to a standalone middle school campus. Again, where students will be exposed to STEM, CTE, and the arts year over year. Students at the middle school level, as well as across our high school campus, will benefit from the incredible work of our CTE department, the work that has been done, again, to create over 16 college and career pathways and state-approved courses. In September, we are excited that every classroom teacher will have common planning time with their respective content and/or grade level peers to engage in professional learning communities that will support our goal to improve teacher practice and, most importantly, student achievement. And again, these are just a few examples of how we are working to improve the district's approach to teaching and learning in the upcoming year. For families who are still concerned and or need support in the transition from one of the schools that will be closing to their next district school where they have a guaranteed seat, please don't hesitate to contact the district's Solution Center. You can reach out to the Solution Center team by calling 856-966-2000 2507. Again, that's 856-966-2507. Or if you need Spanish translation, please call 856-298-9091. Again, for Spanish translation, 856-298-9091. Our student supports team, along with our family operations coordinators, have been working to ensure that we've reached out to all families with a personal touch to answer any questions that they have, but that process is not over. Please reach out if you have any remaining questions, because we want to support you in relocating to your new guaranteed district school. So, in my final thoughts here, and there's never a way to close out a conversation like this, I want to just go back to the fact that I don't shy away from the difficult emotions that come up around school closures for all of us, myself included. However, I will again ask the entire community to join me as we look forward, as we look toward the future and planning for a district that focuses in on the success of our students and that has all of our resources aligned to ensuring that we can maintain sustainable, not only local control, but sustainable supports and resources and inputs that are going to be focused and centered on our students so that they are able to soar, that they are able to make greater gains academically, so that they are able to meet their destiny. And so again, I want to thank everyone for your comments and your concerns and for expressing your voice in this very difficult matter. And at our budget hearing, once our budget is approved by the county, we will be able to hold our budget hearing and share more details around how our funds will be expended, both grant funds and in-district funds, so that you have a full picture and view. It would be premature of me to state that now before our budget is approved by the county. So again, we are looking forward to being transparent and sharing that information once we have the approval, the necessary and appropriate approvals in place to have those conversations. The next, okay. Ms. Jocelyn, you shared some information regarding the May 5th State Board meeting. Thank you for sharing that. And you also raised a concern that all of our families may not be able to access the Spanish translation if they're not able to access YouTube. So let me take that back to our team. Thank you for flagging that as a concern. Again, this was one step toward ensuring that we have that we're able to translate and that all of our families, regardless of any language difference, won't experience a language barrier in order to receive the information about their children's school district and the decisions that are being made. However, we know that this is an area that we must continue to improve upon and grow in. So thank you again for highlighting that, that concern. Give me one moment. Okay, and with that, I will end that portion, and I would like to turn this portion of the remainder of our board meeting this evening back over to the board president, who will lead us in taking any comments, questions, or concerns from our board members.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. At this time, do we have any comments or questions or concerns from board members about what we heard thus far and some of the questions and comments or some of the information that was delivered thus far? Vice President Nelson, please.
I believe board member Ms. Atwood had her hand raised, so I'll wait until she goes.
Sure, Vice President. Ms. Atwood?
Thank you, Vice President Nelson. I want to thank everybody for their reports tonight and the information that we received and it was especially critical for us to learn about the paraprofessional piece. Okay, thank you so much. I just wanted to say that for those of us who were special education teachers, I just want to offer condolences to the family of our supervisor, Walter Kuba, who lost his life, and his funeral was today. Okay, and I just wanted to offer condolences.
Thank you very much, Ms. Atwood. I too was under him as well. He was a great individual.
Yes.
I believe next, I see Board Member Naima Gillespie. Or do Vice President would like to delay again?
It doesn't matter. Go ahead, Board Member Gillespie.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, all right.
Thank you, guys. I just want to give a big kudos to Tom Levy. One of my biggest concerns coming into this was the number of students we were losing to surrounding vocational schools because of our lack of CTE programs. So I'm really excited to learn more about that. I think that's a huge win for us. So I just wanted to take the moment to congratulate you, Tom, on that. Going through the reports, I just had a few questions. How many students do we have for out of district placement? I understand that some students have, special services that, are needed and we don't have, i.e. Bancroft, Legacy, etc. But then I see some going to different districts, Winslow Township, Collinswood, etc. And I'm wondering, how, I'm sorry, how can they offer our students, students the services they need and we can't? Like, what does that take for us to be in a place to be able to take care of our own kids, and just, thinking about being cost effective there. And then also for us receiving services from the Ed Services Commission, are we keeping up with their quality? Like, do we know they're high quality and cost effective? Just who keeps track of those incoming services there? And that's all I had today.
Thank you very much, Board Member. Vice President Nelson.
Sure, thank you. So I want to say thank you to our administration team, all of our school staff, and just making sure and ensuring a safe return to school for everyone, our teachers, our students, and I know it's still challenging times. So just thank you for your courage of being back in the building and making sure we get back to our jobs. Also, thank you to our board members for your continual work. The things that you do that may not always be announced. And I just want to tell, and inform everyone that, hopefully next month we will be reporting out our committee reports as we do meet as committees, just to ensure that we're on the same page as well as in support of what's taking place. So we want to make sure that people get questions answered and know that the work that's being done behind the scenes. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you very much, Vice President Nelson. And anyone else, any other board member? I can't see other hands. I'm scrolling through. Anyone else of the board would like to have an opportunity to ask a question? Thank you very much. I'll turn it back over to you, Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Board President Mohammed. I want to thank the board for your support, for your it's joint accountability, right? Holding our feet to the fire. I can't find a better term for it, but holding our feet to the fire so that we make sure that we're delivering with integrity to our young people. Every question that's asked, and our board members, just for the public, ask questions all throughout the month. It's not just here at board meetings that they raise concerns. Our board members are concerned every day of the month, and they show that concern not only through their questions, but also through their advocacy and just volunteering to help and support in many different ways. So it is definitely something that I appreciate. I definitely do. And our district will grow and be a better district because of the accountability that we have to our board. And as we get local control back, the voting authority will even add that one more layer on top of it. But I respect you each as if you had a vote. So thank you very much. I want to say to Ms. Atwood, Thank you for bringing to my attention. I did not even realize that Mr. Kubla had passed away. I do remember him from many, many years ago, but thank you for reminding us of him and for the dedication and commitment he had to the district. To Board Member Gillespie, thank you so much for acknowledging the work of our CTE and school support team, and as well as Mr. Levy and all those others who worked with him to make sure that our partnerships are in place. We do definitely share your desire to see our students to remain right here in the district, to be able to matriculate through high school and have every CTE offering that is provided in surrounding districts, so that they don't have to feel that they have to leave the city in order to get that. And so we are continuing to work diligently to not only get these approvals, but to make sure we're building sustainable pathways and sustainable partnerships, so that 20 years down the line, we can look back and say, wow, these programs are thriving, they're growing, and our young people are benefiting from them. You asked a few key pointed questions. One, your question was about, how many students do we have in our out-of-district placements? I will work with my team to get that exact number. I don't have that exact number right here with me, but I can tell you that in addition to the number of students that go out, the price tag that goes along with the services that are provided for some of our students, I think is also a bit of critical information that would help you to understand just the scope of how fiscally draining. You saw the pie chart, you saw how much money goes out in tuition, and because we are not able to offer every single out-of-district placement that would be necessary to fulfill all of our students' IEPs by law, we have to contract out with another either neighboring school district or provider in order to make sure that those students' IEP needs are in place. We did implement a pilot program with Archway at Cooper's Point, where just, planting the seed for how can we, start a program that we can bring other districts in, just like our students go to other districts as well. And so that program was able to get started in a small way. It will take more work for us to, again, think outside of the box as we get more sustainable in order to get the staff members, the right number of paraprofessionals, the equipment, the settings in place so that we can meet the needs of some of the programs that are offered. But you raise an excellent point, and I know that is something that Jill Traynor from our special services team, again, through that small pilot program, the larger idea was how can we flip this so that we can keep our students in their home district, as well as keep the monies in their home district so that they're able to benefit from. So more to come in that area, because that will require a short and long-term planning in order to get there. You also had a question about what does it take for us to be in a place, oh, okay, I think that was similar, so we don't have to send our students out. Camden County Ed Services Commission, are we engaged in any, what I heard you saying was, quality control. How are we governing whether or not the quality of the services that they offer are worth it? And we do have lots of engaging dialogue, discourse, conversations, documentation, emails with the Camden County Ed Services Commission. And we work in partnership with them to let them know if there is something that is not meeting our needs. One of the areas we brought in-house this year from the Ed Services Commission is transportation. So we're doing our own transportation because we found that that was more beneficial for us to do. We work with the Ed Services Commission on contracting out our OT, occupational and physical therapy. We get our OT and PTs from them, as well as our speech therapists. And so far we haven't had any concerns, but again, our Director of Special Services maintains good contact with the Ed Services Commission so that if there is a concern or an issue, we have a recourse or a feedback loop that we're able to provide that information. But this is something that we must stay on top of, and we will remain accountable. So thank you for flagging those areas.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome. And VP Nelson, thank you for acknowledging the hard work of our teachers and staff members. They did a fantastic job of, we are a blessed district. Our teachers want to see their young people. And we know that there may be concerns lingering due to COVID, and we understand that. However, by and large, the majority of our teachers embraced our young people back with open arms. And those who are still teaching remotely are still doing so to the highest level. So again, thank you so much for just acknowledging just the great work that our teachers, our custodial staff, our students. I tell you, on the first day of in-person learning last week, it was so wonderful to be able to greet our custodial staff and see just the hard work they've done in our buildings, to greet our security officers, our teachers, our school leaders. Everyone was just focused around the goal of getting our students back in person. So I follow your lead in saluting all of our staff members and teachers for the excellent job that they have done in their various areas as well. And if there is nothing else, thank you, Board President, for that space to respond to those questions. Again, I want to make sure I underscore that at the budget hearing, we will be able to have more pointed, detailed discussions about our grant funding, how it will be utilized, our budget, our aid, like all of that. But again, we must wait until it is approved by the county. And we're hoping that approval, well, it has to come soon legally. So we will look forward to sharing that. And if there is nothing else,
Hold on, I believe, Madam President, I do apologize. I believe Vice President Nelson have an additional question or comment.
Not a problem.
I apologize, not a comment, just a statement. And the last couple meetings, I missed it. I just want to quickly acknowledge those that take the lead with the food bank as well, especially during COVID, and, it never stopped, the weather being cold or, just COVID spreading, people remain committed and dedicated to making sure our families and our students have food. So definitely something to be recognized for. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you much.
All right, thank you so much, Board President. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to our Board Secretary to present the business office agenda items for approval. I'm sorry, the business office agenda items for approval, our Board Secretary's report, our bill list, and our resolutions.
Okay. As you said, the business office agenda, we recommend for approval the financial reports as of the year to date ended March 31st, which are the Board Secretary report, the cash summary, and appropriation transfers. Also, we have bill lists for approval for payment, which would happen after this meeting. And also on the agenda is approval of the comprehensive annual financial report, or CAFRA, for the fiscal year ending June of 2020, as well as a corrective action plan on that audit. And then also we recommend for approval the other agenda items and resolutions that were on the agenda this evening. Does anyone have any questions on any of the items? Okay.
All right, if there are no questions, I don't think I see any questions.
No, we don't. I don't see any questions, Madam.
Okay, thank you so much, Board President. If there are no other questions, in accordance with the powers vested in the State District Superintendent under Title 18A, I hereby approve today's Superintendent's agenda items and business office agenda items. I'll turn it to Board Secretary.
Are there any other issues for discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.